What's up, good people? So I'm gonna go over a few videos here, and I'm gonna analyze them from a detective's perspective. Um, Retired now, 30 years in the game. So I have some investigative experience. I've done a bunch of other things as well, but I just want to say that so you know where this is coming from. Uh, I'm gonna go through these videos, and I'm gonna show you step by step, as best I can, a few things that I think could have been handled a little differently. Now, Sheriff over Nolan Wells case speaks to WDSU. Let's run it.
Sheriff, can I ask you a quick question really quickly? Can I ask you a question? I'm Chantel with WDSU in New Orleans. I actually came up here 2 weeks ago to meet with you, but I think y'all were in and out of meetings about the Wells case, and then they told me eventually you just weren't able to come out. So that was like July 8th. So I'm back now. Wondering if you guys will be releasing any more details concerning the case. The last thing I saw on your social media was on July 8th, the same day. So any extra details, because we did just get the independent autopsy results today. Anything that you can give us?
Not at this time.
Okay, can I confirm that y'all are working with the FBI with the case?
Yes.
Okay, any other agencies that you're working with at this time? All right, and is this case still under investigation?
It is actively under investigation.
You hear that? That's a key statement right there. Actively under investigation. Remember that part. Just shelf that for now. I'm going to talk about that again in a minute. But now, this is something, she's an excellent reporter, not taking anything from her, but I will tell you this. When people are trying to hide something, typically they cannot handle more than 4 layers of questioning. So she asked him, hey, is it actively under investigation? He said yes. Now, there's a difference between a criminal investigation and a civil investigation. So is it criminal or is it civil? Be my next question. Next question is, if it is criminal, any suspects involved in this case, anybody suspected of any wrongdoing? Because remember, initially, Sheriff Ledbetter said there was no evidence of wrongdoing initially, and he has not repeated that statement since that time. But I would like to point out that if there were more questioning and layers to this statement he made right here that says actively under investigation, is very important. So is it criminal or is it civil? Are the witnesses that you've talked to, are they allowed to speak to other people? Now, I want to hold your feet to the fire. You made that statement already. I'll have that in the back of my head, and I'll hold your feet to the fire. Now, initially, you said there was no indication of wrongdoing or no foul play. Are you still on that? Then if you didn't say that, then why did you say it the first time? If it's an investigation, then there's no wrongdoing, then why am I investigating it then? If there's no wrongdoing, then why are we investigating? Well, that tells me that it's probably not a criminal case, because if it was criminal, somebody be in jail, right? Because when police have the information, they don't ask questions. They get to it. Trust me, they get to it. They don't waste much time. If they got it, it's there. All right, let's go a little bit more.
Okay, so I was told by the district attorney everything is going through her office at this time.
And everything else should be referenced to the district attorney's office.
And see, that's another point. Even with the people that are supposedly helping the Nolan Wells case with the autopsy in another state, you got benjamincrump, Al Sharpton, you got people donating money and then investing all their faith, put all their faith in benjamincrump. He's actually a personal injury attorney, and he is actually not really helping the criminal side, because this is the issue. If he is investigating this, he is actually destroying the criminal side of it. If there is a criminal element to it, he is destroying it. So even though there's an autopsy done, I don't know if he was able to do this or not, but a better thing to do would be to have a separate medical examiner come down and investigate and do the autopsy alongside or accompany the Mississippi medical examiner at the same time. So you wait a few days, send the body up to Washington, D.C., and it's just not, it's not the same. All the body parts weren't there. It's inconclusive. And I'm going to show you another video in a minute that shows you what they found, which is essentially nothing. This sheriff right here, I would be asking him more questions. He's being very stoic. Look at his posture. He's stiff. He's
okay,
there.
So
he's
y'all
not
no
saying much
questions
of
about
anything.
The case?
Yeah. I know you're trying to get some editing.
See, now he's diverting. He's getting off a point, getting off a square. First things first. Initially, you said that there was no evidence of foul play. Are you still standing on that or not? Because you said it. I'm holding your feet to the fire on the statement you made. You said it. Let's see what we're doing. You said it's an active investigation. So if the people you interview, are they allowed to talk to other people? Are they? Is it criminal or is it civil? Is it a drowning investigation? Is it a boat malfunction investigation? If it's a criminal investigation? Are there any suspects? What are we looking at? Oh, everything should be forwarded to the district attorney's office. Well, what have you sent to the district attorney's office? Have you sent the interviews that you have? All these statements, are they on affidavits? Are they sent? Were they notarized and recorded? Were all the interviews recorded? If they're recorded, did they go to the DA's office? Now, I'm going to put you in a corner. Since you're telling me to go to the DA's office, all the people you interviewed, can you give me an estimation of how many people you interviewed? 50, 60? No problem. Okay. Did all 50, 60 people you interviewed, were they all recorded and on videotape? Are they? Okay. If they are, then you telling me that the DA has these videotapes of these interviews that you've done? Okay. If they do have them, okay, now I got to talk to the DA. Since you referred me to them, I'm going to ask them. And I'm doing it right now. So either way, this is the way you handle that type of situation when you're there. Nothing against this reporter, but he diverted her at the end. I'm going to show you one more. This is what I'm looking for right here.
Nolan Xavier Wells' preliminary independent autopsy results were released today. I'm Dr. Frida, and I had the honor of being a guest on the Don Lemon Show this morning as attorney Ben Crump's presentation of the results streamed live, and I gave my real-time reaction as soon as the autopsy results were released. And then just this evening, I was on the Joy Reid Show where we further discussed the autopsy results. I'll give you a brief synopsis now. The cause and the manner of death for Nolan Wells at this time is undetermined due to a need for further investigation, according to the preliminary independent autopsy results. There were some significant findings. One was a 12 by 8-inch lesion on the back of the head, the occipital region of Nolan's head, and it was reddish in color. We don't know why he had that lesion. Could he have had blunt force trauma? Could he have had an intracranial bleed? We don't have enough information. We do know that according to the report, there was no skull fracture, but we don't have enough information from the brain to know if there was trauma. And it is possible for this to have been a post-mortem change of blood and fluid that just pooled to the back of the head. That's a possibility. The anterior neck was missing. And when I say missing, I mean that the original medical examiner, the Mississippi medical examiners, actually held back the front of the neck. And according to Dr. Mitchell, the independent examiner, he said that it is not uncommon to hold back interior neck structures if there's more investigation to be done. That being said, on this independent autopsy result, we weren't able to know what the hyoid bone looked like. Was it fractured? Were there signs of asphyxiation and strangulation? We don't know that. We also, on this independent examination, don't have a clear picture of what the lungs looked like. Was there water that entered the lungs prior to Nolan's passing, which could indicate a drowning? Or were the lungs completely empty, which could indicate that he was already deceased before entering the water? We do know that according to the independent autopsy, there were no broken bones, no skeletal fractures, no overt signs of bruising or trauma on the body. There are still a lot more questions to be answered, but here we are. We got the preliminary independent autopsy report before getting the original autopsy report from the Mississippi medical examiner. I'm Dr. Frida. If you enjoy up-to-date medical information like this, please give me a follow and subscribe. Now,
after all of that, at the end of the day, the cause of death and the manner of death are undetermined. The cause of death and manner of death are undetermined because that is essential for a criminal case or criminal investigation. If you don't have the words homicide as a cause of death, which means a death caused by another, the investigation is like a fish out of water. It's going nowhere. Now, I will backtrack to the very first one when the sheriff said it's under investigation. Now, if it's a criminal case under investigation, let me tell you something. It is standard operating procedure for most investigations for the people who are witnesses to the case not to be allowed to talk to each other or have interviews about the case if it's criminal. That's usually, because it affects the integrity of the case. Some of the witnesses or people who were present at the time or immediately before Nolan Wells' situation even occurred on July 4th of 2026. They have been interviewed on YouTube, TMZ. They got audio tapes. Nancy Grace is talking about one of them. All this information should be at the DA's office. All this information should be held and kind of kept from people to the public, because now, let's say there is a criminal investigation. If there is a criminal investigation, the people who were involved, now there's so much doubt, you don't know who's doing what. You don't know who's doing what. The longer it goes, the more difficult it will be. First situation. Autopsy doesn't say homicide. Done. Inconclusive. What she just said, the doctor, respect to her. Manner of death, cause of death, undetermined. Nothing. You have nothing. Up to this point. Then it said pending further investigation. Now you got the sheriff saying, hey, it's under investigation. What kind of investigation? A drowning investigation? A malfunction on a boat investigation? He flipped off the boat investigation? Was he intoxicated and drowned investigation? And the other part of it is, the most important part, to determine if he had drowned or not, the lungs were kept. If there's water in the lungs, you know he was alive when he hit the water. And those lungs were kept. There's other elements the medical examiners look at as well to determine the manner of death. The most important parts are gone. The only thing that this independent medical examiner could come up with was pending further investigation to corroborate what he found. And you don't have much to look at. You have much to look at all. Even if the information says, or the examination or cause of death comes back and says manner of death, homicide, cause of death, homicide, whatever. If it comes to that, now you got to determine who did it. Now you have to determine who did it. And if someone does come forward and tells a story, it's going to be very difficult. Not saying it's impossible. It's very difficult now. The waters have been muddied. Then you got people like Officer Brandon Tatum, who's been a police officer for a short period, got a lot of followers, I get it, but he's interviewing people that were part of it. If he's an investigator, if he had an investigative experience as a police officer or a detective for that matter, he would know if you really care about the integrity of the case, you would not interview people that were there. You don't want to skew the audience in any direction. You don't. I'm not a fan of Brandon Tatum. I'm not. Because of that. I'm not a fan of Benjamin Crump. Huh? Because he's swaying people in another direction, right? The integrity of the case, these kind of situations cause a big problem. Brandon Tatum interviewing people is a problem, and Benjamin Crump talking a whole lot and putting everything he finds out on Twitter and social media is another problem. And he did this entire autopsy reveal at the NAACP rally. Who does nothing? They don't do anything. They haven't done anything in the past 5 decades. Nothing. So what's the point there? Now, rest the soul of Nolan Xavier Wells, but I will say this. This investigation is so muddy, so murky, that if something did happen, we don't know. May never know. Some of the main people that are complaining right now and say things like don't snitch, well, you see what don't snitching does. Something happened. We just don't know what it is. If nobody snitches, case doesn't get solved. Now, if people don't snitch at a high level, you see how it gets all murky and confusing? Yeah. So snitching and reporting a crime are 2 different things. If you're part of the crime and they catch me and I tell on you because you were there with me and they didn't catch you yet, that's snitching. Now, if I saw the crime and I'm reporting the crime, now I'm just reporting the crime. I'm reporting what I saw. I'm a witness. Because the people who caused it, who contributed to it, need to be held accountable. They have to. If you saw something and didn't say anything about it, you should be held accountable. If you know something withheld information, you should be held accountable. Who bought the liquor? We just investigate right there. Come on, now. What are we really doing? Who bought the liquor? Let's check some receipts. Of all the boats that were there, nobody saw him fall in the water. Nobody heard a splash. Nobody saw anything. It's 4th of July. There are people everywhere. Nobody saw that. Come on now. It's no snitching shit. It's for the birds. Somebody needs to talk. And one more thing. Benjamin Crump needs to stop talking when it comes to that. He needs to be working a little bit closer on the criminal side to make sure that whatever information he gets to the DA. And it's added to whatever investigation that they have. Now, the DA, Sheriff Ledbetter in Jackson County, and the FBI will probably not talk to Benjamin Crump because he talks too much. Have you ever had a friend that has some information and you can't tell them because they just tell everything? He's that kind of person. You can't tell him because he's going to put it all over the news. He will spread every information outside and put it out there so they just won't tell him nothing. That's why I'm not a fan. Well, another reason why I'm not a fan. You talk too much. You're interfering with the criminal side of it. If there is a criminal case, you just screwed it up. Brandon Tatum's TMZ, even if later on they do produce or hire a special investigator to investigate this crime, if it is a crime, which I certainly believe something happened, then that investigation is like a fish out of water again. Autopsy screwed up, witnesses are screwed up, evidence is screwed up, everything is tainted. Everything is screwed up to the point where it's going to be very difficult, very difficult. And you got people that are not talking. So the people that complain the most, they're the ones that say don't snitch. And this is why I say report the crime. If something happens, report the crime. You should. Because these kind of things happen. People who need justice, like the Wells family, may not get it. Not in its entirety. Was it one person, two people, a group of people? Who knows? The waters are murky now. Y'all tell me what you think. And if you got a statement, please add comments. I'd like to hear what you got to say. And like, share, subscribe if you would. If you like more content like this, please let me know. If you want me to keep following this case, please let me know. And I'll get to it. All right? Peace.
It won't last long. The black boy feeling abandoned. The black girl trying to break a bad habit. So they'll try to take your joy from you. There's too much beauty inside you. Get your back off the wall. Too much greatness in you. Don't lose sight of the call. I got a legacy to build. Ain't no way